Alright, this wire right here, this is the ground wire. I have it hooked up to the engine stand bolt that's holding the engine together. So it's hooked to the negative on the battery. Alright, this wire here is a power wire. It goes straight to the starter, the positive on the starter, and the wire comes all the way down and I hooked it straight up to the battery. Alright, on this plug, this really big black wire right here, this goes to the starter. This is a black and yellow wire. I don't know what that goes to, but I have that hooked up. I'll show you in a little bit. These two, I think these are black and red or black and orange. I have those hooked up together, and they control the coils and igniters. And yeah, I forgot what this one's for. But yep, that's hooked up too. Alright, these two are the black and red or black and orange, whatever they are, wires that I was talking about. I have them hooked together. And then these are the black and yellow and whatever the other wire was. I have all of those hooked together and have them running straight to power. Alright, this is the starter wire that goes directly to the starter. I have it hooked up to the switch. And the switch, one end is hooked up to the starter wire, the other end is hooked directly to the battery. So when I hit the power, it'll activate the starter. Just like that. Alright, on the fourth plug, I have the number 26 wire, which is this, and the number 4 wire, which is this black one, hooked up to constant power. I got this plug out of a 1993 Corolla, so the wire colors aren't going to match. But that's how I have that hooked up. Alright, this is one of the coils. I have this bolted and grounded to the engine. And both igniters, these little brackets were hanging off of the engine, so I just bolted it to that. And they're grounded that way too. Alright, this is the idle air control. In order for your engine to run properly, you need this hose. Well, in order for my engine to run properly, I had this hose connected up to the tube. Yeah, I just ghetto rigged it with this silicone hose. On the idle air control valve, there are two hoses on each side. The hose on the right side is hooked up to the EGR. The hose on the left side goes directly into the throttle body. And on the opposite side of the throttle body, there's a hose just like it with a metal hose, and that plugs into the other side. But you'll see what I mean. Alright, this is where I hooked up my fuel. Fuel goes in here and follows out through this tube right here. And then you hook that up to a filter, and that goes straight to the fuel pump. And this is the fuel pump I have. I hooked that up to a switch so I can turn it on and off. Let's see. The return line goes to the fuel pressure regulator. It should be right by the throttle body. It's right here. And I just have that going down the metal line, going down this rubber hose, and into the gas tank, or whatever you have. But I don't have it hooked up now. Alright, this is how everything should look. Have the fuel pump hooked up to the switch. This is how it sounds when it turns on. I'll always turn that on before I start it. This should be the positive to the fuel pump. This is constant power going directly to the black and orange, black and red, and black and yellow wire. This wire right here is constant power to number 26 wire and number 4 wire on the fourth plug that I showed you. This is a power wire going directly to the starter itself, not the starter wire, to give the engine power. This wire goes to the starter button. which is hooked up to the starter wire. So I can turn the engine over. This is the engine ground, hooked up to the stand, and this is the negative to the fuel pump. And that's about it.